Corn on the cob. How hard could it be to make? Well, I remember years ago one of my college roommates asking her boyfriend, well, you know, how do you make it? Do you boil the water first, or do you put the corn in cold water and boil it? And how many minutes do you boil it? And he said, wow, I don't know. So if you don't know, you can get really soggy corn. And I've eaten soggy corn at other people's houses before where they just let the corn sit in the water too long or cook it too long, or just they don't do it right. So I'm going to show you the right way to cook corn on the cob. The corn should be really tasty. It shouldn't be waterlogged. And this is the way to make it. Before we answer those two most important questions, let's talk about the type of pot you're going to use to boil the corn. This first pot here is called a Dutch oven, and it's typically big enough for all ears of corn. But if you have a lot of corn, then you want to use something like this, a stock pot, which I use in the winter for cooking soup. If you don't have a stock pot or a Dutch oven and all of your pans are smaller in width than this Dutch oven pan, then you'll probably have to break your corn cobs in half, and that's okay. So let's go on to the next question. So do you put the corn into the water before the water boils, or do you wait and boil the water first and then put the corn in? Well, here's the answer. Boil the water first. All right, because if you put the corn into the water before the water boils, it's going to be sitting in the water for too long and the corn will get soggy. Let's look at the next step. I used to peel the corn over the garbage can because I always saw people do that, but it just made a mess on the floor. So now I open all the corn and pull off all the husks in the sink, and then I can clean it up, grab a bunch and put it in the garbage can, and then the rest goes, well, I have a disposal. But you can easily gather it up, especially if you have one of these sink mats. You can gather it up neatly and you don't get all that corn stuff on the floor. Let's go on to the next question. How many minutes do you cook the corn? Now the water's boiling and I'm ready to put in the corn. But wait, one more question. How many minutes should we take to boil the corn? I once ate at a friend's house. They had corn on the cob. The corn was really soggy, waterlogged. Yeah, they put the corn in the water before they boiled it, but they boiled it for too long. Here's the trick. You only boil it for 6 minutes. That's it. So we'll go to the timer. 6 minutes. That's all it takes. When the corn is done, I like to drain it on a clean kitchen towel for a few seconds. It just helps to get all the water off. And then I put it in my corn holder. This is from Pfaltzgraff, by the way, spelled with a PF, Pfaltzgraff, corn dishes. And that's how you make corn on the cob.